Welcome, everyone. Welcome. I'm going to get right into it. Welcome to Of the Publishing Persuasion. I'm Angela Montoya, author of Sinner's Isle and A Cruel Thirst, and I'm here with Melanie Schubert, agented author of Severed Cape. Yes, yes, yes. We're still here. We're celebrating. This is the year of Melanie Schubert. How are you, Melanie?
I don't know if it's my episode because I seem to recall that a certain celebrity-esque someone may be going to Comic-Con as a requested author. I feel like it's not my episode today, Henny. It's yours. So,
Oh, Hemi, I have questions to ask you still, Hemi, from
oh,
our Discord,
okay.
which we will get to. I
We'll
still have
get to
questions.
it. Tell me about
Yes.
Comic-Con. I've been perishing.
Do I I have always like since I've learned what Comic-Con even was, like way back in the day, I've always wanted to go just because it looked so fun, like so cool. Um, it was just a dream to go just as a fan of things. Yeah, of like everything. And so like I'm even on their like newsletter. I have their like I've just always wanted to go. But it just obviously it never worked out. And it's not cheap, I don't think. Like the tickets don't
Yes.
seem cheap.
It's not cheap. And no, I totally relate to this. I always have wanted to go. We have not exactly that. Oh, do they call it Comic-Con here? I don't know. We have stuff like that. And I'm always like a bit intimidated to go because I'm like, do I cosplay? Do I not? Like, you don't know how much to like dive in. But I've been in
Yeah.
awe as well from afar. So like, I get
Yes.
what you're
Yeah.
saying.
Okay, good. Yeah. No, it's one of those things that just looks so fun.
Yeah.
So my publicist emailed me and was like, "Hey, what do you think about doing this panel?
Yeah.
It's for Saturday, a panel with," and she named names, and I was like, "Excuse me?" And and I was like, "Hell yes, whatever I have to do. If I have to start jogging right now, I will go." I will be there. But yeah, my team is sending me down to frickin' Comic-Con
They're sending
for
down. How luxurious. I love
is that not
this.
right? Like hair flip. I'm just gonna enjoy it. Like
Yeah.
whatever happens in my career from this day forward, I went to Comic-Con. Like I'm
Dude,
good.
that is a very decent like cock flop. It's
I didn't need the visual also with your hand going down.
it's such a big author cock flop.
Stop it.
I'm not even sorry for that. You loved it.
I did. 100%. I am gonna cock flop everywhere about that. Just bam, bam. Yeah.
Because the thing is, Comic-Con kind of like exceeds just the basic writing community, right? It's like
Yeah.
movies and shit as well.
Yeah. I have no idea what to expect.
Yeah.
And the authors who my panel is called Shadow Baddies, which is so
Very.
perfect for Sinner's Isle.
Yeah.
I think hell for even for Cruel Thirst. Like just I just love a little darkness in my life. And so yeah, and the authors on the panel have like reached out to me and just been like, "Hey, how exciting is this?" And I'm like, y yes." Like,
Can you tell us
what?
the authors on the panel?
Yeah, let me read the names.
Yeah.
Let me just cock flop real fast.
Please. Please cock flop all the ways. Left, right, windmill.
I'm just gonna helicopter flop. Here we go. It says, lean into the darkness with Adeline Grace of Wisteria, Sarah Howley, A Witch's Guide to Fake Dating a Demon, Bridget
Oh,
Kemmerer.
her.
Yeah, baby.
I used that as a cover
Yeah.
title. I know that. I haven't read it yet, but,
Oh, I'm flopping, girl. I'm
you
just
are
flopping.
flopping.
Yeah, baby. Bridget Kimmerer, Destroy the Day, Raven
Mm.
Kennedy Guild, and Angela Montoya of Sinner's Isle. It says, from demons to witches to death itself, these authors create protagonists who don't just face the shadows, they embrace them and bend darkness to their wills.
That's so
Moderated
perfect.
by Dr. Janelle Horcasitas, educator, technical writer, and
I can never say that word either.
that word futurist. So yeah. So shadow baby, shadow baddies.
That could not be a more perfect panel for you with your
Ah,
mega shadow baddie yourself.
yeah. So I'm pumped just to be there and like I
Yeah.
have no expectations. I know we're gonna do a signing afterwards. I
Yeah.
will not, I'm not, my expectations will be low on how many people will be there for me. But the
Oh.
fact that I'm just there, I'm so pumped.
Okay, dear listener, this is my moment to beg you, nay, I implore you, show up for your girl. Show up. If I was there, what would your cloaca queen Melanie do? She would be there with literal bells on. So it's time. It is time to rally. It is time to cheer. Bring your pom-poms and shake them for the Angela Montoya.
Shake them hard, please. Yes,
If
yes.
you shake them hard enough, she might flop her cock.
Oh, it wouldn't be flopping. It'd be.
I'm sorry, I don't know what this chaotic energy that I'm bringing today, but
I don't know, but I love it. I love it. I love the hair, by the
oh,
way.
thank you. I feel
And
really
you had an early
stanky.
morning. You had an early morning yesterday before the hair. Do you want to talk about what you've been up to, Miss
I
Melanie?
do, but are we done raving about Comic-Con? I'm still excited for you.
Well, yeah, I think we can be done because I'll tell you
Okay,
how it went when I come back.
when is it? That was my other question. I knew there was something.
It's not this weekend, it's next weekend. So I'm
That's
flying in.
soon.
Yes, and I don't know what I'm gonna wear, nothing. I'm flying in early in the morning. I take a lift to the convention center. I walk in, I shake hands with my publicist and I say, "Hey, thanks." And then we go to the panel and then I sign and then I have until like 6 o'clock to just walk around.
To
I
eat
don't
your
know.
fancy hummus in the restaurant. I mean, in the hotel room again. Remember
I
you
would
ate some
love to.
fancy hummus?
Yes. Oh, it was delicious. Baba ganoush.
Baba ganoush.
It was divine. But no, I'm not staying the night. I'm flying back
Oh,
that same night.
listen. This sounds very fabulous, and I'm here
Yeah.
for all of it. I
Just
am
flying in for the day.
flying for the day to sign some books. This is so fucking cool.
It's fun.
Can you
It's fun.
please do, since you don't know what you're wearing yet?
Yeah.
I am obsessed with like get ready with me when it's especially if it's someone I know because it's like it just reminds me of living in dorms and you just all did you ever live in dorms?
Uh, k- Kinda, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And you know
Yeah.
how you have those like events and you all just go sit in each other's rooms and try on a million things. So
Yes.
I am requesting a multiple outfit stomp the catwalk for us, Reels,
Okay.
and let
Okay.
us help you choose your outfit. It's our
Oh.
service to you.
Oh, I love that.
Take yourself
Okay.
shopping first, get a bunch of things
Okay.
that you feel like, because, like, let's be
Yeah.
real, a new top can change your day.
Yes.
Don't you reckon?
Yes.
Like,
I reckon. I
yeah,
reckon.
yeah, you should reckon.
It's true. It's true. I
Yeah.
bought myself a skirt. My Here's the thing, because I am going to be there all day and I won't
Yeah.
have a hotel. Like I need something where like it's going to be sweat proof
You
because
can
I will
breathe.
be.
Gotta let
Yes.
that cloaca breathe.
Yes, like we need air circulation. We
Yeah.
need like sweat proof,
That's smart
and
though.
I got to think of these things. And I need to figure out
Yeah.
like what the shoe situation is because I don't want to be like walking around hurting.
Mm,
So, yeah, I'm
that's
gonna have to
such a good
I'll have to
point.
do
Yeah.
I'll have to do a get ready with me uh fashion show.
Yes. Do you have good shoes that are like cute but supportive?
I don't think cute and supportive, no.
It's
So
a
I'm gonna have to
hard
maybe
mix. Okay, well,
yeah.
that's your mission now. And you can always a black top you can't go wrong with if you're feeling sweaty. It's
Yeah.
just, can't go wrong with that.
Yeah. I want to be hot, but
Yeah.
also approachable,
Oh, yeah, that's good.
professional,
Mm-hmm.
cool.
Well, you hit it
Oh,
on the head last time. I fucking loved the outfit you wore to the other thing.
oh,
For
thank you. Yeah,
your
I felt
Y'all
cool. I
fest.
felt cool. I felt cool
Yeah,
on that one.
you
Yeah.
looked cool. So that's
Oh,
the
literally.
mark to
Yeah.
top. That's a
Yeah.
benchmark.
That's I know that's gonna be hard. I might have to just have my daughter help me.
Yeah.
She's cool.
Yeah, yeah. Take her
Um,
shopping with you, but it's all about
yeah.
you.
Yeah, that's gonna be hard for her because she's gonna be like, nah, let's just buy stuff for me. Listeners, I want to just say, if you feel like playing like a drinking game right now, every time Melanie or I say cool, from this point forward, take a shot because I guarantee you, after you
Melanie or
listen,
I? I'm sorry. Melanie or I? Do not put me in your category. There is
okay, you
no
got
way
it.
to
That's true.
split up those calls. Those are all yours.
Okay, all right, fine. It's true. I I we have Codie Crowley on the show, and I must have said she was cool. I don't
Mm.
know, a good 1,000 times.
I'm sorry for
Probably,
saying this, but was it a Zoraida moment for you?
I don't know. No, I just think she's just really cool.
She is
Like,
really cool.
you just look at her and go, wow, that girl's cool.
May I attempt Gen Z for a moment? She got that Riz.
She, yes, yes, no cap. She's got that skibbity riz.
Oh my gosh, do they say skibbity Riz? Or did you
Yeah.
make that up?
No, I did not make that up. Trust
Good
me.
Lord.
Yes,
Good Lord.
the word skibbity has been said in my household way too many times, and I
What?
can't tell if they're being ironic or not at this
It's
point.
got to be ironic.
I think so.
It's
It's become a
giving
problem.
ironic to level 1000. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I tell this story. I was telling this story to my partner when I got back from Y'all West.
Mm,
So I did an interview with like a young, super cool interviewer. And
mhm,
after ever like Gen Z, totally like way hipper than I could ever be.
mm.
But she would ask me a question, and every time I would answer, she would say, "Slay."
Mm.
And so she'd
I
be like,
love
"Oh, what?"
that.
Oh, it made me feel so good because she'd be like, "Oh, hardback or paperback?" And be like, "Hardback." She'd go, "Slay."
Mm,
Like happily ever after or cliffhanger and be like happily ever after. Slay. Like every single thing I'd answer, it was the slay. And I thought, oh my God, am I just killing this interview? Like I am
I
slay.
mean, you were saying you were like very cool, if I dare say. If I dare
I
say.
was I was
Does it make us
trying.
wanky just because we're saying
I,
cool? Do people even
I think
say cool
so.
in the year of our cloaca 2024?
I don't think so. And I just gotta like I'm gonna have to text Cody and just be like, hey,
She's gonna block
I'm
you.
sorry. Yeah.
She's gonna get a restraining order, 500
She's gonna be
meters
like,
at all times.
yeah, she's gonna be like, damn, like this girl was trying way too hard.
No, it was
I just
perfect.
love Cody. I think she is,
The coolest.
yeah.
Our listeners are going to be crunk listening to this. Don't make a drinking game out of it. Water a plant. Water, do something good for yourself. Water a plant every time Angela says
Oh,
it.
wow. Wow,
Maybe.
that's so nice of you. That's
Well,
so
I
good
mean,
of
you're
you.
over here trying to get our listeners inebriated. They don't even know how many times it's going to come up.
That, yeah, quite a few. Yeah, I guess I should water a plant too.
Yeah, look at her. But she looks all right,
Yeah,
Shangela.
she's doing good. She's doing good. Okay, well, Melanie, let's get back to you because I do have questions for
Oh
you
my
from
God.
the Discord, from the
Oh.
Discord, that we never got to yet. You know,
Mm.
things have been busy for you with your, oh, we never talked about what you were doing yesterday before your
Yeah.
hair appointment.
Yes. Oh, good Lord. I'll never book a hair appointment after. Well, so yeah, I had a meeting with my agent, Sandra Proudman. Um, yeah, it just feels like a fever dream. I'm not gonna lie. Like it was at 4:30 in the morning and which is like super early, but Phil wakes up for work at that time anyway. And I was like, just wake me up when your alarm goes off. Don't let me go back to sleep. But like I think because I've been sick for so long, I did feel it. I'm not gonna lie. It was like, but I was like, I can't, who cares how early it is? Like how many times in your life does like one of your biggest dreams come true? I was like, get the fuck up and go have your meeting with your agent. I know that like Sandra wouldn't have expected me to show up given the time thing, but yeah, I'm so glad I did. It was a small group who managed to make it that day, but like it was so cool to meet some of her clients and just be like, wow, like these people are so cool and I can see how they fit with her and just yeah, it was really so we just like had a little gathering and just like talking over some points and she gave us like she was like, "Oh, these are some of the trends in the market at the moment," and like, rah, rah, rah. And just if we had any questions and concerns, we brought it up with her. I just sat there like a stunned mullet, buzzing. I don't even know what I said. It was like I said, it was a bit of a fever dream. Um, and then yeah, it was short and sweet, but like I was thinking I'm gonna be wired afterwards, which is why I booked my hair appointment in the morning. I was like, she needed to be cut. It was a lot of, I've got really fine hair, so when it gets too long, I'm always like, oh, it'll be beautiful if you grow it out. And no, it's not. It is not. It's as soon as it gets like past my collarbones, it's giving swamp monster. It just gets all matted. I don't know how you keep yours so lush and long. We have different hair for sure. Mine just gets so swamp monstery and like lank. So it was at that stage. And I was like, oh, I'll get a haircut because I'll be wide. But I'm so tired after. I just comb it out and kept snoozing my alarm. But anyway, it was magical and I'm so glad I got up for it. And yeah, a lot of these moments still feel super surreal. Like I'm kind of like it's good that like the next step is just work, right?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
I think it would just be, I wouldn't know what to do with myself otherwise. You'd just be riding this surreal cloud of like, what? Did that actually happen? But yeah, just getting to work on the
Right.
night in rusted armor, doing
Oh,
all the
yeah.
things. And yeah, I'm still blown away by last week. It's a weird roller coaster of emotion, right? Like I definitely had the letdown after, like that. You
Yeah.
ride that high and then just like that outpouring of feeling. But yeah, you can ask your questions. I'm just gonna rant otherwise.
Yeah. No, I think that's like part of being a writer, though, is having these moments of just a pure bliss. Like your excitement levels are beyond through the roof, and then it's the crash after.
Yeah,
Like we go through these highs, huge highs, and then these lows. Well, it's not necessarily a low after, but it's just you coming back down from that
yeah,
high. And that coming back down can be a little bit draining of being like, okay, now I have to put in the work. And it
yeah.
feels like that every single time. Like I've had great news. It's like, okay, and now we got to hit the horse, hit the hay. I don't know,
No,
not hit the hay.
not hit the
That's
hay.
like
Hit the ground
Hit the
running.
races. Yes, that's it. Thank
That's
you.
the
Thank you.
one. No, but that's the thing. And I think like maybe the truth is we've just been doing it long enough to know there's no guarantees about any points of it. And so it's like that thing of like, yeah, this big step has happened, but like realistically, I know that there can be a lot of steps before actually getting a book on the shelf, you know? So yeah,
Yeah.
I think I'm just it's good. It's healthy to have that sobering moment. And again, as much as I hate to admit it, I wasn't ready like like when I thought I was. You know, like when I was having
Yeah.
that indie book published, even when I was in Pitch Wars, if this had have happened, I think my trajectory would have been super different because I don't even think I really knew myself or like I don't think I'd found a peace within myself at all, let alone to put myself on a platform in the industry. Because
Hmm.
it's like putting yourself into a storm, you know, like and you don't know what's in there, right? And there's so much good, you know, freaking gold drops out of the storm, but it can also be like fucking razor blades, you know,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
that's what we sign up for, trying to do this as a career. Not
Yeah.
trying, we're doing it. But yeah, yeah, that's the sobering part of it. I know there's no guarantees my first book will sell. I know but what I know is I'm a fucking stubborn ass bitch. So
Hmm.
I'll just
Hmm.
keep writing until something sells. And I think now getting the agent has given me like a boost of confidence in that self-belief. I think I'm like, I'm just gonna
Hell
keep
yeah.
doing what I've been doing. Just my little stubborn cloaca queen.
Cloaca Queen. Yes. And there's something about finally stepping into who you are and understanding how you work and your voice as a writer and as a human. I think there's power in that. And it feels like once you really settle into that, at least for some of us, like that's when you
Mm,
really get to, like, good things come. You know,
yeah.
sometimes it just feels like the universe is just it's just building its way and it's getting there, but you know, sometimes it just takes the time, and then
Mm.
when it happens, you are ready.
I'm so relieved about that part that like that I still feel like me after. I know it sounds so stupid, but like there's like this fear of like when things come up in life of like, and that's why she's been in therapy. You know, there's this fear that it will like something major will change or like whatever. But yeah, I'm relieved that when it all like falls away, it's just still me doing the same things I've always done. And that part was like comforting to me that it didn't uh it only felt like good growth, you know? It didn't feel like
Yeah,
I don't know how else to explain it. Does that kind of make sense?
it does, and it's beautiful and it makes me happy.
You make me happy.
Oh. Okay, I have questions for you.
That was the worst segue of your life. People are going to think I did the most abrupt cut. I'm like, no, that was the segue.
That was it, guys. I'm just moving on to the
Okay,
next
let's do
thing.
it.
Okay. Kate Kate Martin. I'm just gonna read like their names in the Discord.
Yeah.
Kate asks, how does it feel to be so damn cool? Take a shot, everyone. I mean, dump a shot of water into your flowers thing.
Um, I certainly I don't know how to answer that. But thank
That's such a
you.
cool thing to that's such a cool way to answer.
I knew I was number one on that list.
Okay, Momo 333 asks, what kept you going through the rejections? How did you weather the tide and rise above to succeed in spite of it all?
Fuck, that's deep. I mean, I didn't always. Like, there were plenty of periods where, I mean, that's kind of obviously I'm going to come back around answer. But like, yeah, I think in the moments when I thought I was going to give up, I couldn't. And there was just something in me that was so stubborn to keep going. And I don't know, like I do think if you have that deep drive to do it, like you can't actually stop writing stories. So even when I would reach those moments of just sheer almost bitterness, like that you
Mm,
feel like you're supposed to be doing this thing. I don't know about supposed to. I'm not necessarily someone who like believes in fate and whatever, but I know that there's like an urgency that you feel, that a lot of us feel to write these stories, and we're thinking about them regardless of whether we write them down or not. And if I'm really honest, a large part of it was how chronically I burnt out, having that nervous breakdown and like being leveled by life. And it really did make like it's I guess it's a bit of a cliche story. Like a lot of writers have a story of like kind of being leveled by something and then being like, well, what do I really want to do? And I think like, yeah, like going through that, it just kind of pulls back all the blah 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 of life. And you're just
mm,
like, well, so what? I'm broke and I haven't had a proper vacation in 10 years. So what? Do you know what I mean? Like it's life is still great. We've like if I actually look over my life, yeah, we've made a lot of sacrifices so I could look after my mental health and write full time. Like there's no two ways about it. But I think I always this is also so wanky, but when I was young, did you ever hear the marshmallow story?
I'm not sure.
Somebody told me when I was a kid this, it wasn't even a story, it was an experiment. And they gave these kids an option. They're like, you can have two marshmallows right now, or you can wait an hour and we'll give you the bag. And then like 90% of the kids took the two marshmallows now. They couldn't, or some of them would wait 5 minutes and like, oh, just give it to me now. And there was only a handful that waited for the bag, but it left such a big impression on me. I was like, if I can just wait, if I can just
Mm,
keep going, like at some point I'll be like, huh, that's just part of my backstory now. I had this in my head this whole time, and you don't know for sure that it will be, but you've got, like we always, like we've been saying, like you've got to have a bit of that like almost delusional belief that anything can happen. And I think having friends that like I've watched like triumph over that rejection and like seeing how possible it is, I think, yeah, looking at the right people, like someone like you who's just stubborn about as well. We're just as stubborn as each other and just being like, just keep going, just keep
yeah.
working. And I don't know, sorry, that was really long-winded, but I have a lot of thoughts on on that topic.
And I love it. And that's this, we're here to hear your thoughts. So thank you. I have more questions for
Okay.
you. And I think this is a good segue from Hannah, which is how did you handle comparison to other writers, getting agents and book deals, etc.?
It was hard at the start. I think Pitch Wars made it hard. Like
Yeah.
Pitch Wars was such a public platform to kind of fail on. And I fucking felt that shit. Like, I had one, like, now we can laugh at it. But, like, I was so, like, uh, humbled by that experience. I had one request from an agent over Pitch Wars, and it was from an agent who couldn't even the email wasn't even spelt correctly. There wasn't even spaced correctly.
Mm.
And that humbles you in a very
Yeah.
mighty way. It took a lot of meditation and mind work. I don't know that I've ever been the kind of person that's like a jealous type person. I actually feel better when my friends, maybe that's like part trauma. Like if my friends aren't succeeding, I don't feel like I can. That's a like trauma thing, right? We've worked through that though, but I think, I don't know, just finding joy in my friend's success. I don't know, but it was a lot of, I'd be lying if I said at the very start it felt natural to do that. I think at the
Yeah.
very start, there's this scarcity mindset that not most, a lot of people have. And it's catching. And I remember that. But I think once I came into contact with people with a healthy mindset, it helped me be like, oh, I don't need to be like that. And I didn't want to be like that. I think that's
Yeah.
important. You have to want, it's very human to like worry you might miss out on something because someone else is getting it. But I don't know. Whether it's trauma or whether it's like a good personality trait, I just can't be happy unless my friends are also succeeding. The top doesn't exist to me if my friends aren't there. So in a weird way, it kind of happened perfectly for me that my friends went ahead of me and I was able to be like, oh, they're doing it. So I know it's possible and I know when I get there, they're going to be so happy for me too because I'd grown up with people who weren't happy for me. So I like kind of cherished that the way it happened. I don't know. That's a bit of a twisty
Yes.
answer. Does that make sense?
No, it does. And I love that. And I love that we were had already been through it. And so
Yeah.
we could come back and when you had questions, we were like, oh yeah, especially Para was like, do this, this. Para had the list,
She
baby.
was
Para was
ready.
ready. So she came with the list of, okay, this is what you need to do.
Mm.
Here's what, you know what I mean? So I think it's nice when your friends are going ahead sometimes because at least you're
Yeah,
learning from what they've gone through. So it's like nice to have author friends that are in every stage. And
that's
then
it.
you get to be the next author who gets to give
Mm.
the advice.
And I think the other thing is the most important thing I think for me that helped me overcome anything that I might have felt like that. When you like it's actually an illusion, right? Like that people are in terms of like, there's no magical thing that guarantees you success, right? And I think I saw that so clearly because unfortunately I had a really bad experience with the CP where I felt like they couldn't be happy for me getting into pitch wars. And
Yeah.
it really left an impression on me because I needed that friend so bad, more than ever during that time. And it left such a deep impression on me, I think, that specific experience that when my friends went ahead and got the deals and got the agents, I wasn't fooled by that milestone. I was like, my friend hasn't changed. This is fucking harder and more stressful than ever.
Mm.
I think that's maybe really what helped me keep like what I would say is like a healthy mindset towards it and just be like, it hasn't changed. It's still scary just because you've got a
Yeah.
book out. It's so fucking scary. What if like there's so many million of questions that like assail you at every point. So I think once you find your people, it doesn't matter what's going on for either of you because you both know like you're suffering and grinding anyway.
Yeah. Oh, that's so true though. It's so true.
Yeah, and
No
I
matter
actually,
what. Yeah.
yeah. Sorry, go.
No, that's you go. This is your questions.
No.
I have so many questions,
Okay,
but
shit.
I
Go.
see I see
Oh,
our
fuck
time.
me dry. It's 5 minutes left.
Okay, let me see. Let's see. This is so hard. Uh,
We'll
okay,
save
hold
one for we'll save some of the questions for when I sell my first book. We'll do a full
on.
episode,
Okay.
but just pick
Okay.
your favorite one.
Peace asked, I would love to know what went through your head when it became clear that you had just got an offer of rep.
Like a mix, it was like the Big Bang in my head. It was simultaneously nothing and everything. You know, like
Yeah.
I literally went, yeah, time and space moved, cloacas trembled, and then there was nothing. Then I was like numb for a while because trauma from query trenches. Yeah.
Hey, that query trench trauma is a real thing.
It's
Like,
real.
yeah.
You know, there's nothing like it. There's no other job like this where, well, like other creative jobs, but yeah, it is a very unique type of hell because you're putting your whole self out there all the time.
Yes.
And
Okay, one last question, Mel.
mm,
Ines wants to know, do you have any plans to come to the States and meet your agent and all of your writer friends?
obviously. Sorry, I don't know how to do that. Yes, fuck yes. I would love that one day. Like, I don't know when, but I mean, listen, if she sells with like a team that wants to fly her over for bookish things, you know, she'll be there. But I'm sure at some point anyway, I'll be there at
Right.
some point.
Yeah. It's gonna happen somehow, some way.
Yes.
Melanie Schubert is moving to America. Just
No,
moving here.
I would never. Sorry, America. We love you, but we're not moving there because your healthcare system frightens me. And so does your general pay, wages, and everything frightens me about America. Your food.
Hey, our food is great. I don't know what you've heard, but especially in California, we have a fabulous food. So Melanie, just come over to our hood. You'll be fine.
Okay, good.
And yeah, just don't get hurt. Just don't get hurt. You'll be
Yeah, that'll be the time like when I need like full system care.
fine.
I'll bubble wrap myself and then I'll come. But let's quickly
Perfect.
read Codie's bio before we
Yes.
time evaporates. Do you want me to do
Sure.
it? The very cool Codie Crowley once told a scary story that caused mass hysteria at a slumber party, and she's been chasing that high ever since. When she isn't writing chilling fiction, she's probably out looking for ghosts in Salem, Massachusetts, where she lives with her husband, their cat, and a collection of creepy dolls. Follow her online at codiecrowley.com or on YouTube at Codie Crowley and on Instagram and TikTok at spirit.board.
Yeah, baby. She is capital COOL. That's right, guys. She is cool. There she is.
There I am. Yay.
Yeah. We're over here bragging about how cool you are.
Yo, you guys are cool too.
I mean, we're trying, but I don't know. I mean, Melanie's cool, but I don't know if we can do like bat necklace, teal hoops cool.
Well, thank you.
We're just saying your photo shoots that you do are the coolest.
Thank you so much. I do them most of the time with my friend Courtney. She goes by Light Witch, and she's amazing. So it's all her.
Wow.
Anytime you know somebody named Light Witch, I feel like you've
Good
leveled
thing.
up as a human. Yeah.
The moniker fits. She's very good with lights.
Gotcha.
Perfect. Yeah, no, I love all your photo shoots. And just your whole vibe on Instagram, but also Melanie, I know you're not on TikTok, but Codie is a star on TikTok. She is TikTok famous.
I believe that. I'm sorry I'm not there. I have such
It's
FOMO. Once again, thank you, Angela, for bringing up my shortcomings with the talk.
It's fun to be a TikTok clown.
No, it's awesome. I think honestly, you're just so interesting to watch, and your stories it makes sense why so many people love you and love hearing everything you have to say. And yeah, and it makes sense because you're such an amazing storyteller, which we'll get into more about the writing stuff. It just makes sense because you're naturally so gifted at telling stories. So
Thanks.
I can see where the books come in.
I always love telling stories, so it's like a captive audience. So I'm like,
yeah, it's perfect. It's perfect. Yeah, no one's going anywhere. You're there. Yeah, I love it. I want to ask, can you tell us like just a little bit about yourself?
My name's Codie Crowley, and my book Here Lies a Vengeful Bitch is coming out August 6th. I have it. Here Lies a Vengeful Bitch coming out August 6th from Disney-Hyperion. And when I'm not writing spooky stuff, I'm doing spooky stuff. So
Yeah.
telling a spooky story or doing something
Mhm.
spooky, everything's spooky.
Yeah.
Codie is living that spooky life.
Yes, I think I read in your bio that you once told a story like at a sleepover and terrified everyone, and you've been chasing that high ever since. And I was like, okay,
Yeah.
I love this right now.
Yeah. People were like freaking out, and I was like, wow, I'm really good at this.
That's amazing. I love that. Was it just something you just made up, like on a whim?
Sort of like I was kind of I remember it very vividly. I was talking about Bloody Mary. I was telling everybody about Bloody Mary, but I was really embellishing, like just
Mhm.
kind of playing off the audience. Like all of the girls were just like sitting there and I was telling them different ways that like Bloody Mary is like more likely to strike. And I was like pointing out like specific things about them that like would make Bloody Mary like come after them. And then everybody started freaking out and I started to feel bad, but then I told them that we could like go on this whole mission and we could like stop her by drawing a salt circle and around the whole house. So we snuck out of the girl's house in the middle of the night and went out with like salt and sidewalk chalk, and we were drawing symbols and like sigils all over her house
Mhm.
and like walking, like just pouring out all the salt around her house. And then her dad woke up and sent me home.
Oh, the dramatic end to that story.
Yeah, he was like, "You out," and I was like, "Okay, I get it."
I feel like it was the specifics, like zoning in on people's specifics that gave your story power. You're like, you have blue eyes. That's a target.
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
Oh man.
Very effective.
Melanie, do you know Bloody Mary? Like, do you guys is Bloody
Is
Mary a
it
thing in
the,
Australia?
okay, I might be guessing now, but is it the statue that weeps blood or something totally different?
I think there might be a version of the legend where it's supposed to be that, but here we always say that it's like you go into the bathroom and say into the mirror 3 times Bloody Mary, and then she'll like come out of the mirror and like scratch your eyes out, or there's always different variations,
Uh,
but the ritual is part of it. Is that you have to go in, look in the mirror, and say Bloody Mary 3 times.
ooh, yeah, I'm sure we have it. I probably blocked my ears out of fear.
Yeah. Yeah,
I
that's the
needed
good one.
more
That one.
salt. I needed more salt.
Yes.
That one will scare the shit out of you, especially, yeah, with a good storyteller telling it
Yeah.
like, woo, I can only imagine. That's the best.
And
Okay, well, I
mirrors
want
are
to ask,
creepy. Mirrors are creepy to start with.
yes.
Like if
Yeah.
the lights are not on, I hate to look in a mirror. When you go
Hmm.
into the bathroom, I'm like, don't look at yourself. Don't look
Yeah.
at yourself. Maybe it's too many horror movies and maybe perhaps Bloody Mary herself.
Hmm.
It could be. You never know. Well, I mean, honestly, I've been waiting to ask this question. It's one of our favorite random questions we ask our guests. And that is, what is the most like strangest thing you own?
So I like collect strange things. So that's kind of like a hard one, but I feel like it's probably the haunted dolls because that seems to freak
Mm.
people out the most, especially like people who are sleeping over my house and I just like have like dolls everywhere. So there's like I have antique chairs that nobody can sit in. So I put like giant like toddler-sized old Victorian dolls in them, and they're like fully dressed and like have like white veils over their faces and like they're just staring at the couch. So if somebody's sleeping over my house, sleeping on the couch, there's just like 3 dolls just sitting there watching them from across the room. And I do have 2 dolls that I think are
No thanks.
haunted. I do have 2 dolls that I think are haunted. One of them um is like a wind-up toy. So it
Mm.
like moves in circles like this. And sometimes it'll just start moving by itself and like playing the little song. And then I have another one who I call the mean old lady doll. And I'm convinced that after I kind of like insulted her to her face one time, she made a plate break in my hand. So I put her in timeout. I locked her in a box for a little bit, and now she's back out, and we have an understanding now. I feel like I still call
Mm.
her a mean old lady to her face, but uh, no more incidents.
Oh my gosh. Creepy dolls are, there's just something about them, right? Do you have a favorite one?
Yes, I call her Big Baby. She's like a giant, just like a giant Victorian doll with like a crackled face. But whenever one of the dolls is like the mean old lady when she was acting up, I put Big Baby next to her, and then like she stopped acting up. So I feel like Big Baby is like the protector doll.
That's wild. I
That
love it. I love to hear these things. I might not visit your house, but I love
yeah.
it.
The dolls will have to go in the box if you visit.
Yeah. Okay. Time out for
Yeah.
everybody.
Yeah, yeah. What's one thing you think about way too often?
Oh, I don't know about that one. I think about a lot of things too often. Okay, so here's one. Whenever I do something that's like weird or out of the ordinary or like not part of my usual routine, I think that I always have this thought where it's like, if I go missing or get murdered later on today, this is going to be the detail that all of the like armchair detectives and like true crime aficionados are going to obsess over because it's so weird. They're going to be like, why would she do that on this day? And it's like, it seems totally innocuous to me, but like I'm like, if I were to die later on today, this would seem pretty weird.
I want an example. Can you give us an example? What would be one of the weird things?
I don't even like if I just go to like I've gone to like abandoned places before and stuff like that, and I'm like, oh, they're gonna think I meant to meet somebody here, or, you know, like I have thoughts like that where I'm like,
Yes.
they're gonna wonder if it was somebody at the abandoned place or like an old weird decrepit cemetery in the woods that I go to, and I'm like, if I die
Gotcha.
later on, everybody like you know, so like it's just like weird stuff like that where I'm like, people are gonna pour over this.
Mm.
I love this.
Yeah. No, but that just has put the most vivid visuals in my head because I've been watching The World's Worst Roommate on Netflix, and literally one of the girls, she followed her roommate into this abandoned space, and he tried to kill her. Well, he thought he succeeded. He like wrapped her up and put her away, and she woke up. She rose up.
Oh my God.
I know. But I do love abandoned
Crap.
spaces, I have to say. So I can
Mhm.
totally empathize with you there. Because when you go, you're like, this is so cool. But you totally have that moment where you're like, and that's where they'll find my body.
It's really spooky. And I've like run into people out in like really secluded abandoned places too. And I'm always like, oh God. I always like bring
Mm,
like just like a pack of cigarettes or something to like offer. Peace offering. I'm out, you know?
that's smart. That's
Mhm.
really smart. They won't bite the hand that feeds them.
Yeah. It works.
Well, okay. I mean, honestly, you're such a good storyteller. There's no mistaking that. Like, did you know you always wanted to be a writer?
Yeah. Yeah. When I was a kid, if somebody like asked me what I wanted to do when I grew up, I would always say that I wanted to be the lady Stephen King. Um, that I wanted to be a writer, or I would tell them that I wanted to be a widow, but that's just because I was obsessed with old houses. And like whenever you look at an old house on the historical marker, the only time you see a woman's name on the historical plaque, underneath it would say widow, like as her job, right? So I thought that that was just like a job description that you had that if you were a woman with an old house. But eventually I learned that that's not what that is. So I stuck with writer after that.
I didn't know that, but yeah, it makes sense because it was like only in the last 100 years women could own houses, right? So I
Yeah.
guess it would be there. Ah, well, tell us a bit about what was your publishing journey like?
That's it.
Painful.
Period.
Mm,
Painful. I wrote the first version of the book like probably like 13 years ago, and
wow.
was actively querying for probably like 10 years, but I was really easily discouraged. So I every time I like would query a couple agents, get a couple rejections, I would stop for a couple months or a couple years because I just like was like, oh well, I just suck. So I was just really easily discouraged, but eventually I managed to stick with it, and I ended up like what ended up being my last round of queries. I ended up with multiple offers of representation, which was very shocking and surprising after 10 years of rejection. And I went up with Larissa, who Angela is also with, and it was really cool. I got really lucky because the timing with Larissa was actually kind of strange because she only had my query when I got my first offer of representation, and I only notified the agents who had my full that I had an offer. But I really wanted to work with Larissa. And like 2 days before I was supposed to give the first agent who had offered representation an answer, Larissa emailed me asking me for my full. And I was like, oh my God. I have an offer and I have to give this agent an answer in like 2 days. But if you want to read it, like, here it is. And like, she called me the next day and offered representation. And I took her offer on the spot because we just got along so well. So that got very lucky. And then we did like a little bit of revising on Here Lies a Vengeful Bitch. And she sold it. It ended up selling at auction in like 2 months. It moved really fast from there. Like, everything moved really fast. It went to auction. I was really surprised also, just like everybody else is, when I tell them that it's being published by Disney-Hyperion, because people hear Disney and that it's called, Here Lies a Vengeful Bitch, and they're kind of like, wait, what? Because when Larissa called me to tell me that an editor at Disney wanted to talk to me, my first reaction was that I laughed. I was like, what? Do they know what it's called? Did they read it? But when I got to talk to Rachel at Disney-Hyperion, who's my editor, we immediately clicked, and I was like so excited. And a question that I was asking every single editor is, do you think that we're going to be able to keep the title? Because I understood that it was like a bit of a stretch. And all of them kind of were like, I don't know. But as soon as I asked Rachel, they were like, yeah, we're keeping that title for sure. And they wanted this book to be even angrier and bitchier, and like everything that I wanted it to be, they wanted it to be. So I got really excited, and I was really happy to end up with them.
I mean,
and here we are.
Yeah, but I feel like Disney is definitely doing some edgy stuff. Like, when I go on and like, it's not just, I know they've got the reputation for the classic cartoons, but no, there's a lot of like cool, edgy shit happening. And I'm so excited that yours is one of them. Was there something that surprised you about the publishing journey?
Everything.
That is such
Right?
a
Like,
valid answer.
It's so funny because every time I like tell like one of my friends or my husband or something, like something else that I learned, they're like, and I'm like, yeah, right. But I feel like there's so many things that like surprise you in a negative way. So I wanted to say something that surprised me in a positive way, which was that I was really surprised by how much of a voice I got in my cover design. I was expecting to not be able to like have any input on that, because I feel like that was what I always heard, is that you don't really get any input. And I was really nervous because I always had this like paranoid thought that I was going to finally get a book deal, and then I was going to wind up with this hideous cover that I absolutely hate. And I was really surprised by how much they like, listened to me, and how much I got to collaborate and talk to the cover designer. Zareen Johnson did such an incredible job, and the design team at Disney-Hyperion did such an incredible job. And I was very shocked by how much I got to like talk about them through the process and say what I did and didn't like. So that was really cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I love the cover. I'm back, everybody. I'm back. We'll see how long it lasts. But I love the cover because it feels like such like a slasher film nod. And it's just like perfect because this book it's so cool. Again, everything about you is cool. Okay. But the book is so unique and so different and so fun and terrible. It's all the things. I couldn't read it fast enough because I've never read like a young adult book like this before, and it makes me just so stinking happy. For one, the cover, the title, everything, it just fits perfectly. But can you tell our listeners what this amazing story is about?
So, Here Lies a Vengeful Bitch is about a girl named Annie Lane who was murdered. That's not going to slow her down, baby. She comes back from the dead to hunt down anyone responsible for her murder. Problem is, she can't remember what happened the night she died, and she's kind of a bitch. So there's a lot of people who might have wanted her dead. So she's got a lot of suspects to go through. It's a feminist revenge thriller with a cozy ghost story tucked inside, because she's also she gets a crush on this beatnik biker bad boy Phantom, who's showing her the ropes of how to be a vengeful ghost. And there's a found family of ghosts who kind of like help her out and everything. So I like the like cozy ghost story aspect.
I love me some cozy ghosts. What do you think inspired you to write this one?
Lots of things. It's kind of like a little bit of everything I've ever loved. My love of Halloween, my love of all things spooky for sure. Campy horror movies that I've always loved definitely inspired it heavily. But more than anything else, I feel like it's inspired by just like my frustration with the way that society like views women who are not perfect victims, and the way that they like that their justice is often very thwarted, or nobody seeks justice for them. And even in the cases where the killer is caught, you know, who's telling the story at the end is the killer. They're gonna tell, even if they confess, right? They're telling the story from their perspective. And every single time I just wish that the victim had a voice, right? Like that they could tell the story from their side. Obviously, you never want there to be a victim at all, but it's just so frustrating every single time that that their story gets told by somebody else. So I just always wish that one of them could just tell their story. So that was really what inspired me, is I just wanted a girl who got her own justice, told her own story, you know, and got to see what justice looks like to her, like what will satisfy what she went through.
Yes, I fucking love it. Like what you were saying about not the perfect victim. I haven't even thought of it that way, but it's so true. Like when it's not the, you know, what we idolize, like this perfect human being to be, this, you know, sunshine girl. But no, like your character's messy and she's done bad things, and you know, she's very morally great. And she's morally maybe all the way, you know, but she's great, and she still deserves to have this voice and to be the main character in this story. And I think it's so cool, and it just feels like such a nod to all of like the horror girlies, all the slasher girlies. And yeah, I just have to say, like, it's just such a great story. And like I'm so excited that I know that I did see you were a bestseller on the Barnes and Noble site,
Can you
right?
believe it? Yeah,
I can believe
crazy.
it. I can. And it should be, because it's that great.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
No, honestly. Yeah. How do you feel like knowing like people are about to read this very, very soon?
It's really exciting. It's so exciting. It's obviously nerve-wracking, you know. It's also like, oh, it's my baby. I hope you like it. So, yeah, there's definitely I'm nervous, but I'm excited. I feel everything. I keep saying that I feel like I imagine that this is a lot like what being pregnant might feel like, because I'm always like, I'm terrified, I'm in pain, I'm scared, I'm crying all the time, and also I'm so excited and I can't wait to like for people to like meet my baby. Like,
I fucking love that so much. That's it, eh? You know, people are always like, don't call it your book baby. I'm like, but like we've like been working like so hard. It's literally blood, sweat, and tears poured into this thing, and a lot of pain, like you said. So much pain.
lots of pain.
Yeah, for real. I mean, you're ripping your heart and soul into out of your body and putting it into words. And I could feel it in this book. Like it just felt so you. And I mean that in the very best of ways. It's great. What would you say has been like the hardest part of your journey so far?
Um, querying,
Hmm.
first of all, obviously, and then I was actually surprised that I have I thought that the second, like everyone warned me about writing the second book, right? Everybody's like, the second book's the hardest book you'll ever write. And I was like, so I started writing my second book and I was like, this isn't so bad. So yeah, I was like, yep, it's bad. The second book was quite a struggle. So yeah, querying and writing that second book were equally hard.
Yeah. Did you notice like when you was there anything that changed in your querying like journey or technique that like got those offers? Do you feel like you switched anything up towards the end there?
I think honestly, the weird thing is that I think I stopped trying to worry so much about like what would make it sound marketable, if that makes sense. Like I kind of feel like I was almost, I don't want to say misrepresenting it in my earlier queries, but I was not being like, I wasn't going there. I wasn't like in the query that ended up getting me lots of full requests and multiple offers. I cursed in it. I talked about like Annie Lane like drinking in a parking lot and stuff like that. Like I just went all out, and made it very voicey, and I felt like I was really getting across like what this book was. Versus like the other ones where it was like a little bit more like watered down, a little bit more sanitized, a little bit more like corporate, because I thought that that's like what you're supposed to do. And finally I was like, you know what? Screw it. I'm just going for it. And that worked. So
Yeah.
I've been thinking about this a lot. This is like, I honestly think that you reach a point where what's that quote that's like, learn the rules like inside out so you can break them like a pro. And like when you read that early on, you're like, oh, so I guess there's no rules. But like, I feel like we almost, that's it, right? You learned all this stuff, but you do reach a point where you're like, oh, that doesn't make sense to do. I'm going to go with this. This is my raw, honest way of doing it. And yeah, like I've noticed that so much when I'm just myself and I just put my guts on the plate. Where before 100% I was sanitizing it. I love that word because it really is. You're like trying to sanitize it, make it more marketable, do what everybody's told you to do. But I think we lose ourselves a bit in trying so hard. And that unique voice that you're supposed to hone as a writer is like so often lost in queries, which is why we all fucking hate it.
Yep. 100%. 100%.
Yeah.
Now you mentioned book two.
Mm.
I don't know what you can say or not say, but like how has this process been? Because truly book two is a bitch. 100%. It's so hard. How like where are you at right now in the book two process?
so we're like I think that we have pretty much settled on a almost final version. So I think we have like one more pass of edits and then going into line edits. So we're getting there. We're finally getting there.
Good.
Yes.
I can see the end of the tunnel,
You got this. You can do it. It's like it always feels impossible until it's done and all that. What do you do
Yeah.
to like fill up your creative well as you're going through all of this?
Um, well, I have I always joke that I feel like one of my biggest like creative inspirations is having insane anxiety because I just like can anytime I'm in any situation, I can picture exactly how it would become a horror movie. So since my second book is a slasher novel, I felt like that came in handy a lot because I would just like go out into the world. Like even if I wasn't writing, anywhere I was, I could like picture things that could happen if the slasher were chasing me. And I was like, and I used that. So I was like, I just kind of I guess I use my anxiety to inspire me. So
Yes.
that's what I do.
Yes, my
Work it.
queen. Use it.
Yes.
We got to use whatever we can.
Yeah. And I feel like Melanie and I have talked about this before. Like I'll be outside and I'll think about a mountain lion coming and attacking me. And so
Mm.
I think it's like that. It's like we add these stories into our books and we can get through our own traumas through our characters. You know, we don't have to experience it, but they can, and we can see how they hopefully live through it or succeed through it or change through it. And I think that's the beauty of storytelling is like it takes all of our traumas and just dump it on the page.
Yeah.
What has been your like the best part of this journey so far?
I feel like it's seeing people like interacting with the story, and especially like if they interact with it in a creative way, like even just talking with the design team and Zareen Johnson about the cover and like seeing them interpret elements of the book into the cover, like that was so cool because seeing like somebody make a creative thing inspired by your creative thing is like the coolest thing in the world to me. So like that, and I just today got to hear clips from the audiobook. So like that was really exciting, is like hearing the narrator's interpretation of Annie's narration was so cool. And now that like copies of it are going out to reviewers and stuff, like they're posting videos and photos with the book and like doing cool creative things and just all of those little details. I'm like, this is so cool. Like it's so exciting.
Oh, heck yeah. Oh my God, I can't imagine the audiobook. It's gonna be, I can't imagine like the accents and the voices. Yeah, that makes me very, very excited.
Is there something that you wish your readers knew before reading this?
Well, luckily I put the thing that I want everyone to know on the title, so that she's a bitch. So yeah, that's all you need to know. She's an Aries. So I guess I could have just said, "Here
Ooh,
lies a vengeful Aries."
that's good. I love that title as an alternate.
That is hilarious. Yeah, I think that's
Mhm.
good. And I think with, because I think we hear about like trigger warnings and stuff like that, but with horror in general, like those sort of things kind of aren't necessary, maybe because you kind of
Mm.
go into it knowing what to
Mhm.
expect. It's considered horror, right?
Yeah, well,
Okay.
I think they're like thriller with horror elements, you know?
Ah,
But
yes.
so I'm saying, horror thriller.
Yeah. Okay, that feels great for it because it's like it gives that thriller vibe where you just have to know what the hell is happening. But it's true what you said, like it is also cozy at the same time. So it's an amazing feat that you did there where you really do like it's really fun. Melanie, you'll have to
I
get
am
the book.
obsessed. I
Yeah.
need it immediately. Like this whole concept and everything, and just like the way your mindset, the way you approached it is like very I cannot wait.
Yeah. Do you watch a lot of true crime shows? Are you true crime girly?
Oh yes. Oh yeah. That's definitely like I said, that's one of the biggest inspirations is because every time
Mm,
I, read about a case, I pour over a case, I just the feeling all I can think is I wish she could just tell me what happened. I wish she could just tell me what happened because like
mm,
those all of those unknown questions, even if the case is solved, it just feels like there's so much left unsaid. And I'm like, I wish I could just hear her voice. I wish she could tell me.
Mm, hmm.
mm.
And you did it here. Yeah.
Yeah, we need
Really
that.
important.
And it's like, I
Yeah.
feel like, I guess as women, like yeah, it's really relatable. Like, how many times have I thought about a fully formed strategy to like get out of a imaginary situation just on a walk, walking my dog? And I'm like, what if that guy grabbed me? What would I do? I have so many, like, I have elaborately performed in my head, like, pretending to be possessed, like convulsing in their arms. I've got so many elaborate ways of like getting out of these invisible situations, but I think we've grown up hearing them happening to people. So you're like, you as authors, we have very creative ways of getting out of them. And yeah, I feel like it sounds like you've really captured that with this book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and it's
I've also had
especially.
situations too where it's like I like if I feel so unsafe and the person who is making me feel unsafe, I feel this like such anger about it where I'm like if
Mm,
if he if he kills me, I'm gonna come back. I'm too
mm.
mad right now. Like if this guy's gonna end me, you know what I mean? Like so I feel like that was part of it too. It's like all of the situations I've ever been in where I have feared for my life, they just made me so mad because I was like, you're
Yeah.
not gonna take me out. Hell no.
Mm.
Yes, yes, yes. I think we've all felt that way in one time or another, which is terrible and awful. But I really love, like, in particular, this is like the messy girls anthem, because it
Yeah.
does feel like so many times the messy girls, the girls that are out there just like living free and wild, are the most susceptible and easily kind of shoved to the side because they are, living this wild life. And even still, they deserve to have their story told 100%. Doesn't mean them make them any less of a beautiful human being. So
Mm.
yeah, I love that you had her just this wild child that was just
Yeah.
living. She was living until she wasn't.
Yeah. But she kind of still is, right?
Yes, she's living on, baby, and I'm here for it. I am here for it. Well, I want to ask one of our favorite questions, which is like looking back at all you've accomplished, what advice would you give a younger version of yourself before you started this journey?
I would tell myself that I was right about everything.
Wow. Yes.
Because I feel like through the process you doubt yourself so many times And what I always tell people, like my advice, for anyone who asks me for like advice for writers, I say you have to find the balance between delusional self-belief and constantly working on it, right? Like you have to always be, honing your manuscript, working on it, revising. But there are going to be moments where you get feedback that you don't agree with, and you need to believe in yourself enough to know that that's not right, that that's going to change the heart of your story, that's going to change what you're trying to say. The amount of times that I heard that Annie Lane is too unlikable and that I needed to tone it down, innumerable. That was almost all the rejections. And I would constantly be like, are they right? And then I would be like, no, I'm not doing it. And I doubted myself a lot of times along the way, but I'm glad that I found that enough delusional self-belief to keep with it. So that's the thing, is that I had to believe in myself, and I recommend that people find that balance where it's like you're working on it, but you believe in yourself and what you're trying to say.
Thank you for that. That was really beautiful. And it's so, so true. You've got to have a bit of delulu to like, to keep going through all the seas of rejection.
Yeah. And but also believing in your characters too, and like what you're trying to do with them. I think there's like something so honorable about that, because like you knew who she was and her story, and you weren't going to compromise on it. And now here she is getting to shine, and you too. So seriously, like, congratulations. It's about to be out in the world any second now. And I just can't wait to see this book absolutely soar. And you too. Honestly, like, Codie, you are just, again, you are the coolest.
Yeah.
Might be in the top 10 coolest humans in the world. I don't know if maybe I'm kissing up a little too much, but it's true.
It's okay.
Listen,
I know
got
I'm
pushed
number
into
one.
lockers just I'm like, I got pushed into lockers just like everybody else, okay?
Did you really?
Oh,
Oh my God, America is so scary. Wait, can you tell us about that before we run out of time? Like literally someone physically pushed you in a locker.
yeah, because I used to dress like, I always dress like weird and spooky. So yeah, they would be like, Halloween's in October, boom,
And now you can rub it in their faces. Like, look
Yeah.
at me, bitch.
I'm convinced that like in high school, the so-called cool people are just threatened by like our awesome weirdness.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
She was serving main character energy and she didn't even realize that she was in her hero arc. And yeah, we're so excited for you. So thrilled that you could join us today. What's next for you? What's
Book two.
book two?
Yeah, this is coming out August 6th, and then yeah, we're working on book 2, and I'll just be around telling scary stories until that comes out. So
Yes. If you guys don't already follow Codie Crowley, you have to. Just for the cool factor. So you can say you follow Codie. Okay, cool factor counts now, guys. We're in my, not if you're pushing people into lockers, but on the other side of things. Let me just make that disclaimer. But also follow Codie because she's just a fantastic, fabulous, wonderful human. So honestly, I'm so excited for you. Like Melanie said, thank you for taking the time to join us and just be amazingly you.
thank you so much for having me. It was so fun.
Yes, it was so fun. Are you going to any like spooky haunted places this week?
I'm doing a photo shoot in a haunted old house with my friend Courtney Lightwitch, so we're gonna be doing that.
Oh my gosh. Some of my favorite memories are with my art friend, my other Angela, and we would go to like haunted houses and do like photos of broken dolls in the corner. And so I'm there with you in spirit.
Yay.
Yeah, Codie. Well, it's gonna cut us off, so we'll just say goodbye now and have a great night.
Yeah.
Bye, you too. Thank you.
Thank you.